Offensively, things started off well for the A's tonight with one out when Scott Hatterberg dumped a looping single to left field, and Chavez singled him over to third base, runners at first and third, and the hottest hitter on the recent road trip, Durazo, at the plate. Pitch to Durazo, swung and lined into left center field. A soft liner drops in for a base hit. Trotting in is Hatterberg, and the A's have taken the lead. In the bottom of the first inning against Rodrigo Lopez, 3 consecutive singles, 1-0 Athletics. But then started what was to be about a half game's worth of frustration for the A's offense. They couldn't get anybody home after that with first and second and only one out. And in fact, by the time 5 innings had gone by, they had left 10 runners on and were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position and were in a deficit situation. They fell behind in the second. First of all, a moment many had waited for, including he himself, Miguel Tejada, introduced to start the second inning. And when he finally acknowledged the applause, doffed his helmet, stepped into the batter's box to face his old mate Tim Hudson, he made solid contact. And the 1-2 delivery, swing and a bouncer to third, tough play, and goes through. Chavez trying to retreat and give ground on the second hop into left field. So he hit a sizzler at his old mate on the left side.
And what will be the scoring decision?
David Feldman ponders that.
E5.
Wow.
You know, that was not an easy play.
That was a very tough play. Sometimes, though, if your eminence as a Gold Glover perhaps raises the expectation level. That broke a string of 47 consecutive errorless games for Eric Chavez, which was a personal career high. Javi Lopez was also zeroed in. And the pitch. Rip to left. Base hit down the line. It'll get to the corner before Kelty can run it down. Tejada going to third and into second. Standing is Lopez with a double. And the Orioles have things cooking here, trying to break out of their 6-game losing streak. B.J. Surhoff promptly hit a high chop off the plate to Scudero at second base, who threw him out. And on the plate, Tejada scored the tying run. Lopez moved over to third. Rafael Palmeiro then drew a base on balls to put runners at first and third. And Jay Gibbons was up, hoping to get the lead for Baltimore. Now the look and the pitch. Hard hit ball. Diving shot. Scudero puts it in time for a force out, but that's all. And a go-ahead run scores. A sensational play by Scudero, backhanding, diving to his chest. When he got up and started to flip, the ball squirted out of his hands, and Crosby had to recover by picking it up on the bounce. And that lost all opportunity for the timing to get a double play.
Well, they would have had 2.
It was hit hard enough. And just in the interest of total accuracy, I said Gibbons. That was Garcia. Gibbons came up and hit into a force out to end the inning. So the A's were down 2-1, but it was early, and it looked like even though Rodrigo Lopez is a tough pitcher, they were going to get their opportunities. They did, but cashing them in became a different matter. For example, in the third inning, a walk to Hatterberg, a Chavez single, got things off to a promising start. But Lopez struck out Durazo looking, got Guy to fly out. When he walked Melhuse, the bases loaded for Bobby Crosby. Crosby's bat came to life on the road trip, and he battled to a 2-2 count, and then things got hot and heavy.
And now here's the pitch. Just low and outside, 3-2. Crosby takes it full. Crosby steps out, readjusts the batting gloves, now climbs back in. Lopez motionless up on top of the hill. The runners will be going. Hatterberg, Chavez, and Melhuse. And now the 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. He struck him out. Foul tip held by Lopez. Fastball that was away, right on the block on the outside, and Crosby strikes out. And the A's leave the bases loaded and fail to score. And after 3, 2-1 Baltimore.
And the left-on bases tally kept mounting. In the fourth inning, Chavez came up with 2 on and 2 out, and hit the first pitch into a high fly to shallow center, and the A's once again could not get at least the tying run in. More in store. In the fifth inning, an error and a single put runners at first and second with 1 out. But in 2 pitches, Rodriguez got Crosby to pop up to third, Bobby Kelty to tap to the mound, and still the A's found themselves in arrears by a run. And it looked like the Orioles might have the sense of how they were going to finally get out of their funk, particularly when Newhand hit a shot off of Hudson to get aboard in the 6th inning, starting the inning. And Melvin Moore made it even more difficult with this next at-bat. Hudson ready again, delivers. Swung on, lined into the gap, right center field. And that has a chance to go to the wall, and it does. And racing all the way around from first to third, coming to the plate is Newhand, and in is a double for Moore at second base, an RBI, and a 3-1 lead for the Orioles. His 77th run batted in. And all those left on base could start coming back to haunt the Athletics as the evening wears on. And there was nobody out in that 6th inning. A freaky play on Tejada's at-bat helped the A's. Moore perhaps made a bad judgment on the bases. A hard shot by Tejada took a bad hop off the leg or the knee of Chavez, caromed over behind shortstop. Crosby went back and pounced on it as Moore tried to go to third and was thrown out on a tag play, Chavez making the tag. So that left Tejada at first, and after a strikeout of Lopez, Surhoff single put 2 on at first and second, but Rafael Palmeiro, trying to fight his way out of a slump, still couldn't find his way out. Palmeiro lined out softly to second base, and that was a perfect placement with the A's in their overshift. They had second baseman Marco Scudero out in shallow right field. He was right in the perfect position for that. And the A's bottom of the 6th, you wonder what more frustration might ensue. Scudero looked at a third strike. And then the A's got a break on another kind of freaky play. Burns hit a little squibber off the end of the bat that trickled up the first baseline. And as Palmeiro came up to field it at the bag, it hit the bag, bounced away from him and Lopez, who was coming over. And Burns had a scratch infield hit. At that point, with left-handed Buddy Groom already in the bullpen and 3 left-handed batters due up, Lee Mazzilli, the manager of the Orioles, went to his pen, and this was where the game began to turn. Hatterberg first up, singled to right field through the hole. Chavez followed, even though he was behind in the count. He stroked a soft single to left, and the A's had the bases loaded, and Durazo coming up. But once again, disappointment loomed in the immediate offing. Durazo went down swinging, and he had been the hottest bat on the ball club throughout the road trip. At that point, right-handed batting Jermaine Dye, back from 4 days off, hoping to make his thumb feel a little bit better, loomed in the on-deck circle. And Jason Grimsley, the veteran right-hander, came in to pitch to Jermaine, and he threw him a strike. But then the next strike worked for the A's. And ready with the next pitch. Ground ball, back up the middle, a base hit. Here's one run in. Hatterberg streaks for the plate following Burns. He scores, and Dye has tied the game. Here in the 6th inning, it is 3-3. Oh, how long the night has been waiting for that big hit. And Jermaine gives it to the A's. Now with runners at first and second. Chavez at second, Dye at first. Melhuse will be the batter. And is there another big hit in the offing? There's a base hit to right field. And now here comes the runner around third base. Chavez racing for the plate. The throw. Not in time. He scores standing. And the A's take the lead. Grinderly has thrown 3 pitches. 1 strike. And the next 2 have gone for singles, scoring 2 and 1 run respectively. 4-3 Athletics. So Mazzilli's bullpen, combined between Groom and Grimsley, have faced 5 men and given up 4 hits, all singles.
Pitch was up, out over the plate, just below the belt. And Melhuse continues a hot run.
Hudson then pitched a shutdown top of the 7th. Roberts had an infield hit, but Hudson popped out Newhand to end the inning. And the A's had no more offense tonight. It was going to be up to the pitching staff. Hudson in the 8th inning left after 7 1/3. He'd given up a single to Mora and a 1-out single to Lopez. Runners were at first and third at that point, and that's when the bullpen call went to Ricardo Rincon. 2 left-hand batters in the offing, veteran Surhoff and Palmeiro. He got Surhoff to pop up to Chavez at third, and then Palmeiro, trying to drag himself out of a 2-for-25 slump, had his shot.
Rincon sets and deals, and Palmeiro, it's a soft fly drive at short, backhand, taken by Crosby off the dirt, going to his right, and he holds on, and the inning is over. And what a job by Ricardo Rincon preserving the lead, getting 2 tough left-handed hitters. First Surhoff and now Palmero on a soft line drive as the Orioles leave runners at first and third. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. A's 4, Baltimore 3.
And it was still that when we got to the 9th inning, and Octavio Dotel was on the hill for the Athletics. And Dotel, looking for save number 14, wasted no time getting the youngster Majewski to pop out to shallow left. Gibbons flied out to left field. And Brian Roberts, who, if he gets aboard, has a chance to steal his way into scoring position, was the last hope of the Orioles. And he got behind in the count, and that didn't bode well. Dotel taking his time. Corner infielders guarding the line. The pitch. He struck him out. A swing and a miss, and the ball game is over. Dotel posts the save with 3 outs in the 9th inning. Hudson picks up the victory the second time in a week against the Orioles. The A's are back on the winning mode at home, and they protect their lead in the division by a half game over the Angels and a game and a half over the Texas Rangers. Final score tonight, the A's 4, the Orioles